All right, folks, welcome into the lounge. This is episode 9, and I'm joined here by my buddy over here, who is a Super Bowl champion,
Yes, sir.
right? And he's a defensive lineman in the NFL. Hopefully, stays with the Rams. But as of right now, NFL defensive lineman Bobby Brown III. How we doing, Bobby?
I'm good, man. How you doing, Jake?
I'm good. I'm glad we're able to link up. We've kept in contact for a while, and you've done a really nice job in the NFL. You've really made a nice career out of it, and I think you're just scratching the surface. People forget how young you are. You even have to remind me how young you are.
Yeah, I think I'm just scratching the surface too, but yeah, just turned 24 right before this season.
Dude, that's awesome. So how are things currently right now? How are things?
I mean, stuff cool, chill. Other than like we talked about between my mom and pops going to the hospital, everything else been cool. Just seen my daughter a couple of days ago for her birthday celebration, and then just right now, man, just chilling, training, waiting on verdicts.
Yeah. No, I get it, man. All right, so let's go back to the beginning, Bobby. I want to get to know you a little bit more, and I'm sure everyone else does. What was your childhood like?
Grew up in Bruce, Mississippi, small town. Me, my cousins, my grandmother. For the vast majority of my childhood, my mom and granny raised me. So when my mama went pro in basketball, my grandma really raised me. Then when she came back, it was just me and my mom growing up for the vast majority until got to high school. My pops was around. He been around my whole life. I'm not saying it like that, but got to high school and he really was around, really a big instrument in me being able to graduate and handle my business. But I wouldn't say my life was like terrible, but I had a rough childhood growing up just because of where I'm from and the things I come from. But that's pretty much it.
Yeah, man. Well, one, I mean, I had a chance to meet your family. It was like 2 years ago now. Crazy, time flies. And yeah, very, very wholesome. So it was cool to meet. Your mom gave me a hug and thanked me for covering you. I think the way she worded it was fairly,
You
because
said what?
the way she worded it was covering you fairly.
Oh, yeah.
So I mean, hey, you got to be fair, right? But yeah, when did you know you wanted to play football in the NFL? Like, when did it occur to you, like, yeah, I want this to be my profession?
Well, being a little kid, you always say it, but I think right around the time I was 13, 14, right before I moved from South Carolina to Texas, I was like, yeah, like I want to play professional football for sure.
You moved to the right spot. Like, Texas is
Most,
the football hot spot there, isn't it?
but
High school football. So you played high school football in Texas.
yeah, I did.
So you can speak on, so I live in upstate New York, and even when I was going to like varsity games, I remember people saying, yeah, this is cool and all, but you should see Texas. It's a whole different animal. What is
Yeah,
high school football like in Texas?
it's like college ball. No, I ain't gonna lie. Like the high school I went to, man, they got an indoor. They got a weight room inside the indoor. They got two grass practice fields and a turf field. It's like the home
Damn.
field. They also have the old weight room, which was a weight room we first used when I first got there. So it's like it's different, bro. It's definitely different. Like between being in Mississippi, where you coming from schools that's 1A, 2A, other than some places you go to, you got 3, 4, and 5s. But it's like where I'm from, you come from 1A high schools, 2A, where you barely got 300, 200 people as a whole. As a graduation class for real. So it's like it's very different. The structure is different, and they definitely prepare you for college for sure.
No, that's awesome. Yeah, my graduating class, I think it was 689. So I had a lot of kids at my school, but obviously we didn't have anybody going in the NFL or anything like that. Actually, that's not true. Not my class specifically, but 2 years before or 2 years after me, Kevin Herter went to the NBA. So that's about it. Upstate New York, we don't get a ton of it. Obviously, you're in, like I said, you're in the football hotspot, so you're gonna have that. So you chose to go to Texas A&M to play football from 2018 to 2020. before being drafted by the Rams after declaring. What was your college experience like, and why did you ultimately decide to go to A&M?
I say my college experience had its ups and downs, but as far as like the experience with relationships, man, like wouldn't traded for the world, bro. Like a lot of the guys I went to war with and played with in college are in the league. Like me, my boy, the Marvin Leal, shoot, Dan Moore. We got Mike, Justin Matabike. That's not his name. He changed his name. Matabike.
Yeah.
Then we got my boy P. Like all the guys, like bro, that like I broke sweat with, blood with, and shed tears and stuff. The wins, the losses, the injuries, everything. Like most of us is in the league, bro. Like, and it's crazy. Even like my young guys getting ready to come into the league. Like my boy Shamar Turner is a D tackle coming out of A&M. Well, D tackle DN, he can do all of it. Like coming out of A&M, he wore my number. Like it's the relationships, man. I wouldn't trade it for nothing, especially going to A&M. Part of the reason I went was Coach Price and Coach Elijah Robinson, man. Them my guys, bro. Like Coach E texted me the other day, checking on me and stuff. He always been my go-to. Like, but Coach Price, God rest his soul, that was one of the sole reasons I went to A&M, other than some other stuff, because I was actually committed to Bama and then decommitted to A&M.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. I see you. And yeah, so wow. Yeah, that's a lot. And you said like these guys. So take me through that. You have your guy. So you went to school at A&M and you have kind of that ownership, like, hey, we kind of built something there. And then there are other people following, in our footsteps. And you talk about like the younger guys. Are you around that building at all? Like, do you go and like visit? Do you go to games? Like, how does that work?
Well, like when I can, I catch a game. When I could go visit, I definitely go visit because A&M isn't too far. Yeah, it's a little distance, but not too far from my daughter. So like when I can, I go. But as far as games and stuff, like with it being a whole new coaching staff and things, it's not that it's different, but it's like it's a little different. Like I would go back because Coach Elko is a head coach and stuff now. He used to be my D coordinator while I was there for all of my years. So I would go back for him, but between just the way A&M looks as far as the guys and women that work there and everything, like I don't really know many people up there anymore, especially like the players. Like my last young guy was Shamar, and he leaving now.
Oh, damn. Okay.
Yeah.
So with the NFL draft coming up, we're witnessing the pre-draft process unfold. The combine's soon going to hit. What was that like going through all those different things, checking all those boxes, and almost going through what had to have felt like a nonstop job interview?
Sure, that's about to be what it is now, like non-stop job interviews. But the difference now is I get the choice. Nah, but man, the draft was honestly, I'll say it was a special time, man. It was as stressful as it was. It's something you got to cherish, bro, because that's something you do once. Literally, that's it. Once in a lifetime, you get a chance to go to the combine once. You get a chance to get drafted once. Like that's literally once in a lifetime. Everybody don't get the opportunity to be invited to the combine or to the draft, so you got to take that all in, bro. But as far as like the experience of it, man, my guys up there in Exos and Frisco, my man Britt, like great experience, but good work.
Yeah, it's a lot. And I feel like I've heard different answers. I've interviewed so many people, so many prospects coming out. And it's funny. Some are like, yeah, I'm just taking it all in. I'm really enjoying it. Some are like, it's work. I got to do it. I don't want to do it, but I have to. Like, it's y'all have different experiences with different things. And like, I've been to like the Reese's Senior Bowl. I was there 3 times. And it's like, you talk to some people and they're like, this is business. And you talk to other people and you're like, I'm just having fun. This is cool. So it's interesting. Pick 117. That always is going to mean something to you. 2021 draft, Rams turning the card. It's Bobby Brown III. Take me through your experience. Who was around during that time? Who was on the other end of the phone? I mean, how did that feel?
Man, It's crazy because I remember the first 2 days because people. I ain't gonna go off saying what team said what or whatever, but some teams was telling me they was gonna take me in the first round, second round, and things like that. And when I
Mm.
didn't go, man, I felt disappointed. I felt down on myself. Like it was a lot. I went through a definite like sad drought for them couple of days. Like I was really down in the dumps. But my family was around, my grandparents, my mama, my aunts, shoot, my uncles, like my friends, like it was just I was around all the great energy and stuff I want to be around. So it's like that's what made it better. But the first couple days was rough, man. Especially like having the expectation to go that high, you don't go that high, and then finally getting here and realizing it's not about where you go, it's about getting here. Like if you can get the job, you get the job, regardless of where you at or how you get it. But man, once I got the call, bro, it was crazy hearing Coach McVay voice and hearing Raheem Moore's voice, bro. Like when I talked to Ra and Coach Henny at that time, it was like it didn't feel real, bro. Like it just didn't feel real. It's like everything you worked for, everything you've aspired, like is coming to fruition in this first step right now.
That's crazy, man. I can't even imagine because it's like I do a live stream every year, with the draft and um yeah, I can't even imagine like going through that like yourself and it's like you're the center of attention in that moment. Like, your family's there supporting you and your friends, they're like looking up to you and they're like, this is so freaking cool. And your name comes across on the screen and it's like, what is even like that? That's just like its own thing.
Yeah, it
Like
is. It's crazy,
what
bro.
can you compare that to?
It's honestly the only thing I could compare it to that said that I would say was better was the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Like that is literally the only thing that's like, man, like, bro, like I've won the biggest accomplishment on the biggest stage.
I know you got more rings than Dan Marino.
And I did it at 21.
I know. Your first year. You didn't
Yeah,
even know like what like bad was supposed to look like cuz
at
man, I'll
all.
tell you, I've been a Rams fan my whole life. And the majority of, me being in elementary school, middle school and high school, they were bad, man. They were bad. I was bullied for wearing a Robert Quinn jersey. That's how bad they
Yeah,
were.
yeah.
But it's funny because you went right to the Super Bowl. I was going to ask you, Rams win the Super Bowl your rookie year. Did you believe from the get go this was going to be a Super Bowl winning team at first exposure? And what I
Honestly,
mean
bro,
by that, oh yeah, go ahead.
I'm not gonna lie. When we first got here, my boy, left tackle Alaric Jackson, me and him, Robert Rochelle, we all used to kick it all the time. Like Ernest Brown, he
Yeah,
on Tampa. We all used to kick it and we all used to talk. But me and AJ had a talk. Like when we first got here, we was like, "Bro, we gonna win the Super Bowl." Like
really.
we said this in OTAs. Like, yeah, we're gonna win the Super Bowl. And then it's crazy. You show up every day from OTAs to the season, and you see Matthew Stafford and Cooper Kupp out there every day practicing this one throw, just practicing this one throw, just timing of this one throw. And the one throw, the one route was a route that won us the Super Bowl.
No way. That's crazy.
Promise. It's crazy. Like,
It-
but it's crazy we said we was gonna win the Super Bowl and we was raving about the people we was playing with between Jalen Ramsey, between AD, Ashawn Robinson, Matthew Stafford, Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods. Like we had some guys. And then in the middle of the season, you get Odell Beckham Jr., you get Von Miller, like, and it's crazy because it's like these are vetted guys, and Von winning the Super Bowl before, like you got a Super Bowl champion right here. You got Matthew Stafford, somebody who I feel like as a quarterback, one of the quarterbacks that have been most deserving of a ring, and like, bro is like, I can't say how much respect I have for Stafford from a fan perspective, from a coworker perspective, and a teammate. Like, great dude, great human to be around, funny, like, and he's a great quarterback, bro. You can't ask for nothing more. Like, and then it's crazy being on the side with Von, AD, Ashawn, J Ram, like, and then you get Eric Weddle, like, it's crazy, bro. Like I played literally with almost probably, if not more, 10 Hall of Famers.
It's
Andrew
crazy.
Whitworth, like, you know what I'm saying, bro? It's crazy to do this at 20. Coming to the league at 20, I'm on practice squad initially. Well, not practice squad, I'm on scout team initially. And going against Witt, and Witt been in the league for, at the time, I think would have been like 14, 15, 16 years, something like that. I'm 20, bro. I'm 20. Like, he been doing this since I was 3. Like, that's crazy. It's crazy.
Oh man, no, that is great. And it's funny because I was live and I was talking about the Senior Bowl. I had my buddy on, and I had a comment. The problem is I look at the comments too much. Like you try to have that balance when you're doing a live stream, and the comments could trip you up because people be like, "Your mic sucks. Your mic, something's going on with your mic," and then you realize that you just wasted 5 minutes trying to figure it out, and somebody's messing with you. Well, I thought that was happening again because I'll never forget it. I'm talking about the Senior Bowl with my friend. And all of a sudden, I see in the comments section pops up Matthew Stafford to the Rams, done deal. And I was like, what? No way. And I kept going, just ignored it. Then it happened again. And then again. And then again. I was like, oh, okay. We're going to turn this Senior Bowl live stream into a Matthew Stafford to the Rams live stream. And I was always supposed to be like an hour long. I was doing it with Blaine Grisak. You've seen him on Twitter before. But it ends up going for like 3-4 hours. And the moment it was confirmed, I was like, the Rams are winning the Super Bowl because I said they were missing that guy. They could have won a Super Bowl with Goff. I have no doubt about it. But the way I describe it, because I don't like the whole, you can't win a Super Bowl with Jalen Hurts stuff. Obviously, that's not true anymore. You can't win a Super Bowl with this guy or this guy. I just think it makes the margin for error that much slimmer. Whereas if you have a guy like Stafford, you have more opportunities. Like, Doctor Strange from Infinity War when he said they only had one out of all those different possibilities. That's how I feel when you have like a bad quarterback. You only have like one whereas Stafford, you have so many different scenarios and pathways. So when they got Stafford, I was like, it's over. They're gonna win. I knew it. You know?
It's crazy you say that because it's like I would say, man, for playing with AD for these years and playing with Stafford, you learn the difference between like the game you're playing and the game you see. Like looking at the game you see, sometimes it seems like the game is out of reach. Like, okay, yeah, we down 24-3 at half, but then you really think about it, being able to play, being able to be around and get this knowledge is like we really only down 3 possessions.
Yeah.
We still a possession at halftime, we get the ball back at halftime, say we go score, defense go get a stop. Even if we kick a field goal, we still right back in this game. Like, it's just being around those guys, seeing their brain and being able to pick that, bro, and like just seeing how they handle themselves through adversity it's mind-boggling for real. Like it's crazy because I think about past games where not giving up, because I'm not the type of person to give up, but you always have that mental thought when you're in the game and it's just not going your way. You're like, man, like these guys killing us. Like they killing us. You never, no matter how out of reach the game seems, it's like it's a different comfort having Matthew Stafford on the field.
I agree with that. I mean, we could actually pivot here because I do want to talk about it a little bit. It's still sore, and I'm still sitting here like, man.
Are you talking about the Eagles game?
The Eagles game, man.
Hold on, bro. I gotta go get my charger.
Oh, that's funny. All right, so you went and you got your charger. So clearly you got a lot to say about the Eagles game. That's the first thing you said to me.
Yeah.
Oh, man. So, I mean, let's start with it because, I mean, I brought it up because it's like Matthew Stafford just puts you in that position where, man, I just kind of felt like even after the Saquon Barkley touchdown, the second one, I totally felt like you guys were going to win. And I just felt like it was going to come down. You guys were going to have to get a stop, which if anybody watched Rams football last year, the defense would get the stop at the end and it'd be up to the offense to score. And while the offense wasn't as productive as years past, and I mean, you were on the Super Bowl team. They scored a lot of points that year. I felt like Stafford was going to go down the field, go God mode like he did against the Lions. And I thought you guys were going to win. And the Puka Nacua catch after that, I was like, okay, I'm sold. And then the third down play, it just felt like this is it. And then fourth down, I kind of just lost it in that moment. I didn't have any confidence on fourth down. As much as I love Stafford, it went out the door. I could see it. It just felt like Philly's year after the third down one went down the way it was. But I don't know, take me through that game, because I believe that was the first time you guys, and I mean, you've been with the Rams since the Super Bowl season. I tried to go back and find a game. I could not find a game where there was snow on the level, at least, of Philly. I know it was cold in New York when I saw you, or New Jersey, but it was not snowing like Philly. That game was crazy.
Honestly, man, with the snow, I felt like a little kid. Like, that's the stuff you dream of.
Yeah.
Some people ain't like it, but shoot, it was fun to me because it's like I've never got to play in the snow. But no, I've never played in a snow game. That was my first one of my entire career.
Damn.
Yeah.
I mean, you look the same. It's not like you struggled playing. Yeah. I think everybody kind of played at the level that they were supposed to play at least on the Rams. I can't speak for the now Super Bowl winning Eagles, but yeah, the thing that I think pissed me off, as well as a lot of fans, is you don't want to come off as that fan that's like, oh, shoulda, woulda, coulda, we deserve this, we deserve that, because that's just not, whatever. Mm-hmm. But it's hard to be, I guess I would say this, because I've talked to people who are not Rams fans, and they agree. It's hard to be like accepting when the Rams outplayed the eventual Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles on their turf, or their grass, after losing, because I traveled 3,000 miles to see that primetime game. You guys lose 37-20, and then you go out there and you outplay them in elements that you guys had no prior, experience in. So it was one of those things where you're like, how the hell did this happen? It sucked. But I mean, yeah, you guys went through. It wasn't even just that game. I mean, the fires and everything going on in LA, going up against an unprecedented 14-win wildcard team. I've never seen that before. Like, that was wild. And you guys, that could have, the points could have kept getting poured on. But I mean, looking at the Eagles game, the Vikings game, and just kind of everything you guys went through after the Bills game, because I feel like a lot of Rams fans after the Bills game, they didn't take the Bills win. They took it as the defense got eviscerated. And you guys took so much ownership despite the win, and you immediately were just this juggernaut. Like, after that game, I think that was the hottest defense in the National Football League. So I guess kind of going from that, where were you after the Bills game mentally? Like, knowing you just had a huge win and you still have people, poking at the defense and everything, giving up 42 or whatnot, but you guys just had a huge win, and now it seems like that's kind of a defining moment in your season. Like, where were you at that point?
At that point, I was kind of already there, but really at that point, I was just like, yo, we can do this thing. Like, if everybody lock in and tone in on their job, we can go win it, or at least make a hard push in the playoffs, which I think we did.
Yeah. I mean, I would agree. And you guys didn't give up over 10 points the last bunch of games. The Seahawks game, I mean, we're not counting that, but but yeah, it was pretty crazy. Going through the wildfires, what was that whole thing like? Because you guys at that point are not an NFL football team. You're representing an entire city. Not the way everybody says you do every year. Like, oh yeah, we're the Tennessee Titans. We represent all of Tennessee. Like, no one cares. When you have, like, not the Titans, but just in general.
No, I get what you said.
When you have adversity like that for an entire community, and they're trying to find anything to cling on to that's positive. And you're playing in the playoffs and you were supposed to play at SoFi, you lose your home playoff game, despite the fact you earned it. You lose it, but you get some good, accommodations from rival Arizona Cardinals. What was that whole thing like? Because that had to have been a wild week.
Yeah, it was wild because kind of the decision to leave and move the game kind of was like between a day or two decision. Like it kind of came out, then it was, I think a day or two later, coach told us like, yeah, we're moving the game to Arizona, and then it was like they sent out a teamworks. They might have said some team meeting, but I don't remember. But they sent out teamworks and was just kind of like add your guests or family members, like people you're gonna bring with you because the whole team's leaving and evacuating Arizona for almost a week.
That's insane. Yeah, I know it was described. I think it was your teammate Tyler Higbee calling it like Noah's Ark. Like even pets were on and stuff.
Pets was on there. Yeah.
Crazy.
It's like people, families, friends, like it was crazy. Especially like we was practicing and was able to see the fire, smell them, and everything. And then boom, coach kind of ended practice early. Like kind of the last day of the day was like really bad where we could see multiple fires, smell the smoke, people coughing and stuff. Like kind of ended practice early, and it was just guys like outside with their families. Like I don't know how many or if any lost all of their stuff in the fires, but it was tough, man. It was tough.
No, I can't imagine going through that. I mean, it's hard, having family and friends out there texting me about, what's going on. It not easy. I feel like that brings a football team closer together though. Like every year there's kind of a reset. I mean, you've been in the league now 4 years and like you've seen it. Like every year there's a reset. There is some continuity and some guys that do remain, but there's, always new players. And with this team, I mean, did you feel that way? Like this team now is together in a way that maybe you're linked together in a way that maybe other teams wouldn't have been, even if they were better. For instance, the Super Bowl team obviously have won the Super Bowl, but like being in that moment where you actually have to all evacuate together, am I right to say that brings the team together on a level that nothing else?
I feel like already between the adversity and everything, like the team faced between injuries early on, between the losing record, talks of Cup being traded in the middle of the season, like losing Ernest before the season, like it was a lot of different moving parts, especially with important people and people that make a big impact with the vibe and everything of the Rams, the organization in general. So once we got to the fire stuff, we actually had to build each other day in and day out. Our families are around each other. We're in the hotel with each other. Like, I think that ain't do nothing but just add more glue to the glue we already had. Because I feel like we were such a close team through the ups, downs, and ebbs and flows of the season, bro. Like, yeah, it was bad. It sucked. Who wants to deal with that? Who want to not play on their home turf for a playoff game? But it was for the better. It was for the safety of everybody. So like, make it happen, bro. And it's just we just had the right group of guys at the right time. I feel like.
I agree. And I feel like I actually kind of felt for the Vikings because I did not give them much of a chance in that one. I felt like you guys were that buzzsaw that no one was going to beat on that night. I just don't think anybody would have beaten you. I don't think the Super Bowl 2021 Rams would have beaten you. I don't think anybody would have beaten you because I think that just that game was so big and just the atmosphere and just kind of the allure of it. There's just nothing. There was something so cool about seeing the Rams logo like at the Cardinals stadium and just like it was just a wild, unprecedented type of game. And I didn't think the Vikings stood a chance in hell of beating you guys.
I ain't gonna lie. I personally, my opinion, I thought we was gonna beat whoever we faced in the first round.
That's how I felt.
The Lions, whether if it was even if the Lions' defense was fully healthy, like in my opinion, I think we would have beat them. Shoot, the Vikings, who else could we have played in the first round? Those are the only two, right?
Yeah, it was the Lions, the Vikings, and yeah, that would have been it.
Yeah, like I feel
Oh, I
like
guess the Commanders, if the Bucks, yeah.
Bucks would have won. I mean, not one. If however we would play that, we could have played other teams, but I think we would have beat any team, like you said that night. But it was also the energy in that building was crazy. Like it was almost like outer body type.
Damn.
It was crazy.
No, it was cool. And, the organization got all these fans out in buses and a lot of the super fans organizing it as well. It was really cool. Part of me wishes I went out there, but I do love watching my games on TV. I just do. I always try to go at least 1 or 2 games a year, but being in upstate New York, I don't feel like I'm guilty because it's not like I'm not going and supporting since I'm not in LA. But I feel like the thing that's so frustrating is that going back to that Eagles game, say you win that game, there's no way you guys were going to lose. Like I don't believe, and it's no disrespect to the Commanders. They just found out Sam Cosmi was out for the year. Their offensive line.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Because that's what I was about to say. But, well, I think the Commanders was, if any team after we lost to the Eagles, I think the Commanders was the team to beat them. Prime example, if I'm not mistaken, the last time Jalen Daniels, ain't that his name? Yeah, Jalen Daniels had the ball.
Jaden.
Jaden. I said Jalen. I'm sorry. Jaden.
Yeah, he plays for Kansas, so I know him very well.
Well, the last time like he was on the field, he got the score to 12-17. The next time he's on the field, I think the score is like 12-27 or 12-31 or something. Like I feel like he could have beat those guys if he had a chance without having to fight the score and fight their defense and kind of be more one-dimensional. But at the same time, if we'd have played the Commanders, like you said, Cosmi, honestly, true respect for bro. It is crazy because Cam Curl played for us. He played with Cosmi and stuff.
Yeah.
We was talking about it on the plane and everything, leaving was it Arizona? We was talking about it. I can't remember exactly when, but I said, bro, I'm not trying to be funny, but I don't think they beat us, especially Cosmi not playing.
No way.
Playing them. I was like, he got hurt in this game, in this last game. Like, they're a great team. I feel like they have a well-rounded organization over there between the guys up front, John and Deron. Then they got B-Wag at linebacker, Jaden Daniels at quarterback. They running back, both of their running backs pretty decent. And their O-line was actually stout. Like, I think they were okay. Like, a decent group together for sure. So, but I don't think, because honestly, Cosmi is probably one of the guards, me personally, that I've played that I have a lot of respect for, that I'm like, yeah. And I normally don't give respect to nobody. I know, like, ain't no lineman, that's me, whatever, blah, blah. But Cosmi is one guy I definitely like. Once he went down, I knew immediately, I was like, yeah, they're not going to beat the Eagles. I was like, there's no chance they beat the Eagles.
Oh, yeah. I picked the Eagles. I felt like they were a way more well-rounded team. I really thought if you guys got past the Eagles, which I did pick you guys to win, but if you guys got past the Eagles, I thought you were going to beat Buffalo. And I couldn't believe Buffalo didn't win, because Buffalo, I think, was a better team. I think the Rams played the two best teams in the Bills and the Eagles that weren't named the Rams, because at the end of the year, I kind of felt like the Rams were the best team. I mean, unorthodox, sure, but just because you didn't have the offense in the past, I felt like that defense was clearly humming at the right time. And you still had situational Stafford who could make any throw, and Kyron doing his thing, and Puka. I mean, there were Higbee when he came back. I think it was a different offense as well. So, yeah, I felt really good. And people also forget the offensive line only had 5 games the whole year where they had the full offensive line. So,
I didn't even know that.
Yeah,
I knew that was hurt, but I didn't know that.
It was wild. I mean, you were banged up too. I didn't like when someone had like a dirty hit on you, and then you got called for a penalty. It was BS.
The Miami game, yeah, I did. When he pushed me, I did hurt my ankle a little bit.
And then you shoved him back, and then of course they saw that, so they're like, "Oh, he's guilty."
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, like, and that was such a big. What's the word I'm looking for? it was just a big moment in the game. Like, one, I shouldn't have reacted the way I reacted, period, point blank.
Mhm.
But at the same time, this guy he literally fully extended, pushed me with both arms while the ball was bouncing on the ground. You literally see the ref reaching to pick up the ball while I'm about to turn and run away. And then I turn back and they act like, because they said I headbutt them, they act like I brought my head back and like, bam. But like, I literally, like, you know how you just go to somebody, you like, yo, like, don't do that. And when I did
Yeah.
it, my face mask hit his and broke. This man flopped. And I'm like, I'm already irritated because my ankle it had started bothering me. And then it's like right here in the heart of the game, this is the last thing we need, especially because I don't knock Miami. I think Miami got talent over there, but I do not think we should have lost that game. If it was any games this year, we shouldn't have lost, even though we got our butt handed to us by Arizona. I feel like for a bunch of different reasons, we shouldn't have lost. We shouldn't have lost in Arizona, but we wasn't ready. We wasn't the team that we became in the middle and the end of the season, mentally, physically, emotionally, whatever. But the Dolphins, I do not think we should have lost it. But they was the
Yeah.
better team that day.
It was tough. I think the ones that bother me the most are probably the Bears and Packers. The Lions, that was I called it an inspiring heartbreak because it showed you that, okay, this is how the season's going to go. Despite the fact Puka went down, despite the fact 4 of the 5 offensive linemen went down, you were using AJ Arcuri at left tackle, who probably wasn't expecting to be playing that day.
Yeah.
Like, you still found a way to go to overtime against a team that everybody was calling a Super Bowl favorite.
Mm-hmm.
And they ended up winning 15 games. So I felt like at that moment, I was like, okay. And then the Cardinals game, I mean, yeah, there were some things that went down and obviously some personnel decisions. And, you know, D-Will comes in, Kello starts getting an opportunity. And I think you started to see it kind of come together. I think there were some pieces. Omar Spates probably should be playing earlier in the year. But you know, there were definitely some pieces I think that had to come together, and you were still a young defense with a rookie defensive coordinator. And I think that showed as the course of the season. He grew, you guys grew. And I mean, you know, you almost set the sack record for the postseason, right?
Yeah, I feel we'd have one more game, we'd have said it.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you had one more snap, you would have said
we just said it. Yeah.
Like the Eagles finished with 16. You guys had 16 in 2 games.
Yeah.
You know? Oh yeah, it's frustrating. But I guess so all right, let's talk about this. You mentioned Whitworth earlier. Is he the toughest offensive lineman you've ever had to go up against, or would you say there's somebody tougher?
Toughest offensive lineman I had to go against. None of them.
Wow. Damn.
But if I'm gonna say anything about an offensive lineman that I respect is if they got an attitude as a defensive lineman and they don't quit no matter how much they lose. Because really, offensive lineman gets paid to lose on a small scale. Like, yeah, you can lose, but the less you lose, the more we'll pay you.
Yeah.
The 2 guys, and it's crazy, the 2 guys that I've went against where I really have to tone in and play good and focus on technique, like the guys that has made me have to think about things. One, the cat from the Cowboys, what's his name? The left guard.
Oh, well, I think Zach Martin. Oh no, he plays right guard. Tyler Smith.
Him.
Mm.
He's strong, very strong, and he don't quit. He got heart. But the other 2, the main 2, and it's crazy because they own the Rams, is AJ, Alaric Jackson, and that man K died.
Damn, I'm not surprised. The offensive line I thought hit another level last year when they traded for Kevin Dotson. They just didn't know it yet. And then when he finally started playing, I think it was the Colts game, he saw it immediately. Like, he's been huge. And then I think Jackson doesn't get enough credit and should be brought back. But so should you.
My boy, appreciate you. But I think my boy AJ, honestly, I ain't looked at the numbers. I don't know. But me personally, just from seeing and playing guys, right? AJ got to easily be top 20, top 15 left tackle. Easily.
Oh, yeah.
Easily.
Absolutely.
Like, if not, maybe top 13, 12, 11, 10. Like, he may crack the top 10, honestly. Because some of those guys, bro, like, some people got it as far as whether it's the mind of it, the veteran aspect of it, or keeping your body up. Just some people got everything. Some people got one thing they're good at. But AJ is one of the ones that got everything, and he got that dog. And you don't see that often at offensive line.
I like that. Who would you say is the toughest quarterback to go up against, if there is one?
Toughest quarterback? Well, I don't really be chasing those guys around, but I would say the toughest one, since I have been in the league, ones that I have played. First, I would go 1A, 1B. Actually, no, 1A, Lamar Jackson. I would say him. The second one, Josh Allen. The third one, Pat Mahomes. But I feel like what makes Pat Mahomes more threatening than those other guys, and I'm not knocking any coaches or nothing, but everybody know who Andy Reid is. Like, that man, Andy Reid, like, as good as Mahomes is, as generational as he is, I feel like Andy Reid is able to make his job just that much easier. And when you're able to go out there and play football and not think, and you're already good, bro, like, man, but those are I would say my top three quarterbacks to play against. I would say Stafford, but I've never played against him, so I can't say that. But
hopefully
like,
you never have to.
Yeah, hopefully I don't have to. But like, just seeing the way he dices defenses and everything like that, like, nah, I was definitely have to put bro top 5 too.
I like that. All right, running back. You have to pick one to stop. Who's the toughest?
Toughest running back to stop. I gotta say Saquon. This is the toughest running back I've played. As far as like, but at the same time, and running backs and quarterbacks are people on the field that got to depend on other people to be good. But I mean, every position does. But some people depend on more people than others. I never got to play Saquon when he was in New York because I went out for that game. So I don't know what it's like to play him when he don't have an O-line to run behind that weigh 2 tons. But running behind that, the vision he has, how hard he is to tackle and everything, like, bro, you got to give him his flowers. Like, he's a good player for sure.
I do remember that actually because we met up after the Giants game.
After the game, yeah, that was a game.
Yeah, we hung out for a while then. Like I got to meet your family then. Yeah, no, that was cool. And you got hurt in the Eagles game, I think it was, right?
Yeah, and a lot of leg hit me right in the middle of my knee, and I had sprained my MCL.
Oh man, I'm glad he came back. You're able to play at the end of the season. That Giants game was going to give me a heart attack, man. Tyrod Taylor running around like that. I mean, that has to be like, I can't do anything. I can't do shit. I'm not a defensive lineman, but knowing you, like that had to, I can't even imagine the position you're in watching on the sidelines, like knowing you can't help at all. And you're watching Tyrod Taylor run down the field like crazy.
Man. I ain't got no words for that, man. It's crazy because that's what sucks. When you on the sideline, you can't do nothing, but when you're on the field, you can make a difference.
Yeah.
That's what you live for. When you can make a difference.
It's true, man. I was so worried because I don't know if you remember, but he had a cup of coffee with the Rams, but they cut him, Mason Crosby. And then he's kicking. I'm like, oh my God, this is the horror story. Like, this is it. Like, and he missed that. And man, I don't like those close games. I deal with it enough with my Kansas Jayhawks in March, man.
I don't like close games either. If it's up to me, I would rather go into games and dominate, but that's not always how it works.
I would see like when people are like, yeah, I'd much rather have like a close Super Bowl. Nah, I hope it's like the Vikings game every single playoff. Like I don't need the Buccaneers game. I don't need that.
If it's any game, I would want the Super Bowl to be like, I want it to be like what the Eagles did to the Chiefs.
Yes.
they was able to put their backup quarterback in, like in the Super Bowl. It's the season over. This is the last game, and they're playing backups for the championship.
That's
Jeez
wild.
Louise, that's wild.
I know. I mean, hey, I think it's easy. You mentioned top 3 quarterbacks you went up against all AFC. I think it's easy to give the AFC a lot of credit because of the quarterback play and how I would say top heavy it is. But make no mistake about it. The NFC is the better conference, at least right now. I think they're more well-rounded. I think that's why, like, the Seahawks found themselves on the outside looking in, despite the fact they won 10 games. I think the NFC had more well-rounded teams. I think they had more, consistency on defense, offense, whereas AFC has the star quarterbacks and maybe not the most well-rounded teams. And obviously, that stuff changes over the course of time. But I got to ask you, you end up wearing the 95, okay, for the Rams for 4 years so far. Hopefully we keep doing that. But, what led you to pick that number? Because you know where I'm going with this after.
Bro, I really didn't pick the number. It was like, one, I knew coming into the league that D lineman couldn't get single digits, but I had 5 when I was in college. And then I thought coming to the league like that like some rule change or something so that we could possibly get like 5. Well, once I got here, J Ram had 5. And so I'm just like, okay, well, he got 5, so like, cool, what number y'all can give me? And then they gave me a list of numbers, and I seen 95, and I was like, well, I had 5 before, so I'll go with 95. And then once Jalen leave, I was the first person to call Berg for the jersey for the number 5, bro. And he was like, yeah, like, if I get it to you, I give it to you. Berg knew he couldn't give it to me. And then Tutu had number 5. Like, bro.
How is Tutu going to give up 15? That number is fire. I don't know what he was thinking.
Like 15 was fire too. He dead wrong. But I think 15 looked good on D-Rock.
Yeah, that's true. Right. It's a good number.
Yeah.
It's probably my favorite number, so I'm biased. So, you know where I was going with this. Trevor Wallace, his little bit, right? Saying, he's at the store and somebody asks him if he plays for the Rams, and he's like, I don't know anybody on the Rams. So he's like, yeah, I'm number 95. And that whole thing goes down where, he looks it up and he's like, I don't look anything like this guy. So, man, like, first off, what was it like getting the spotlight shined on you in that light? Because Trevor's got a big platform. I think I texted you right after that. Yeah. I DM you on Twitter. I was like, yo, you got to check this out.
It was cool, bro. It was so cool because it's like, I don't often get put in the media. I don't often do interviews. I don't, like, you don't really get to see me around. I'm just not a household name yet. I haven't been given my opportunity to be that guy always in front of the camera, whether it's on the field or in the media. So when he did that, bro, it was so cool because it was also like, of course, going into country year, I need all the exposure I can get realistically. Like, all more the better. You know what I'm saying? And
yeah.
But the night I seen it, bro, me and my mom was in the car. Like, we was shopping for, I'm getting ready to go to my boy Mac's wedding. And we were shopping for some clothes and stuff, like, to get ready to go to the wedding. Sitting there scrolling, and I'm just like flipping on Instagram. But me and her talking, we sitting in the car, and then I just stopped scrolling and I'm looking at her, and because she was saying something, and then we hear the video is playing in the background, and then all of a sudden, all I hear is like, yeah, I just got 95 on the Rams. Like, yep, that's me. And then I was like, what? And I look, I'm like, hold on, let me watch the video again. I watched it. Bro, I fell out laughing, bro. And then I showed my mama. She thought it was so hilarious. Like, it was just special, bro. Especially like getting from the publicity standpoint of it. Like, it was cool on Trevor's part to do that, even if it was real, if it wasn't real, if it was just a joke, whatever, bro. Like, most definitely appreciate it. And then on the aspect of, like, it made people laugh. Like, and it's an ongoing joke. Made my mama laugh, man. Made me laugh. So it's like, can't do nothing but respect me.
It's so funny. Did you know Trevor Wallace beforehand?
No, I didn't. I used to follow his videos and stuff, but like personally, like meeting him, knowing them interacting on social media, nah, bro. Like I only know him from his videos, and I have been watching, bro, really since like if I'm not mistaken, I have really been watching bro from like college for real. Like,
Oh yeah, I mean he's hilarious. I watch his videos all the time. Dude's so unhinged and in a good way. So speaking of Trevor, you've embraced the comedic side with the turnover mask. And some of the other tweets you make. I see you. How important is it for you to be the funny guy off the field who tears people to shreds on the field?
I mean, me personally, bro, I love to try to make somebody laugh, man. Make somebody feel good, because you know somebody dealing with or the next person dealing with. Like, I know I deal with my hardships every day, every night. Everybody else doing the same. So it's like it's nothing to give a little kindness and a little grace, especially a little laughter. Everybody love to laugh. Why not laugh? But man, it don't even be on purpose, bro. I'm just goofy like that. I'm just goofy like that, man. It is funny because once I got to the Rams, I'm actually real introverted. Like let me not say introverted. I'm real reserved. Like I'm just kept to myself. And once I get to the Rams, bro, and I just see how from hanging out with my guys, AJ, School, Ernest, Cole, like just kicking with those guys outside the stadium, showing my actual personality, meeting new friends, and then going to work and seeing how AD is, how goofy he is, and cool he is. And I'm just like, man, let me let my guard down, be myself. Like, this is going to be a business regardless. I might as well have fun while I'm doing it.
I love that. No, it's a great point. And it's one thing, obviously not everybody's trying to be likable at all times or whatever, because who cares about that? Like, you either like me or you don't. I'm not going to go out of my way to make you like me.
True.
But when you're funny, most people tend to like you. That's just the way it is. And I like that you embraced it, and just the whole thing, like the turnover, Matt. You said that to me. You're like, "Yo, check this out." I was like, "What am I looking at?" It's like, what is this? It's like, oh man, but so
this was so funny. It was funny. What made it funnier was when the NFL posted it.
Oh,
I was like, God. Okay, yeah, that is hilarious. Because I really only posted it because I was messing with the equipment guys. They had the little mask in the back, and I was just messing with them. Then I put it on, and the first thing I think of is, I was like, well, I can't see fucking shit out of this thing. Oh man! Oh yeah, bro, that's funny. I honestly almost forgot about that.
So that will not be a ritual after the turnover on the sideline, like the turnover chain at Miami. Got to put the mask on.
I feel like it'll be cool. Like, we actually had a mask, like it would be funny, but we ain't really got no. We ain't got no.
Maybe you just turn on you put on the mask after the turnover. You do a flex and then you take it off.
Oh, man, something got to. That is hilarious.
Oh man, it's so funny. This is what I like about you. Since we've gotten to know each other, you are a funny guy.
Yeah, I love to laugh, bro. Shoot.
Man, the people that don't love to laugh are the weird ones. Don't make us look like the weird ones, man. The people that don't want to laugh, it's like, all right, there's something wrong with you.
Right. If you hate yourself, that's cool, but hate yourself.
Yeah, keep me out of it.
Keep me out of it.
So this past season, wild ride, 1-4, hottest team in the league. You mentioned the Cooper Cup. Well, I want to actually touch on that. What is that like? I know you don't play on the offensive side, but when you have a guy like Cooper Cup and you see him and he shows up every day, to work, and he's working his tail off, and you've gotten to know him a little bit, I'd imagine. Like, what is that like when you start hearing rumors about a focal point, or as Les Snead, the general manager, called it, a weight-bearing wall for the organization, and you start to hear that he might get moved after kind of a slow start to the season? What is that like in a locker room?
Oh man, I mean, it's just like this. Like the simplest form I could put it in, if God forbid, but if all the players worked at McDonald's and the manager came in and was like, "Yo, our best employee, we're firing them today." Like, okay, cool. Like, yeah, we know it, but guess what? We still gotta go to work. The
Yeah.
difference is with us is our work also depends on other people, and it's like we need each other. We have to have some camaraderie to have a decent football team, at least for a year. The fact of once it came out, like it was, I hate to say it was easier to deal with because of the things that happened with Ernest before, but it was easier to deal with and to hear because of how the things went with Ernest. But hearing that about Cooper Cup and he's shoot, the perfect pro. That's all I can say. Between him, AD, perfect pro. Haven't seen nobody else be a better professional athlete than those two. And I'm just speaking from my experience. But to see that those talks was happening, man, it just lets you know like nothing personal in this business. It's all
Mm.
business. And business as casual, business as usual. And anybody get cut, anybody get released, anybody can get traded. Same difference with coaches. They could lose their job tomorrow. They could lose their job before the season, still got a coaching season. It's the same thing for everybody. But it just goes to show that blade cut the same for everybody.
No, I like that. And I think that's a good way to describe it because like when it's so easy for people like me that analyze the game and make all sorts of takes and stuff. And it's like it's easy for people like me to be like, yeah, well, just put like Devontae Adams in there over Cooper Cup. Like he has more stats or he's better. But what you're describing are the intangibles and the things that when you lose a guy like that and he leaves your locker room, it's a lot harder to replace that than it is just stats. Because
Yeah.
everybody at that position can put up stats, especially if they're playing with Sean McVay, Matthew Stafford, and so forth. So yeah, it is interesting. I have a lot of mixed feelings about like what this offseason is going to hold and everything. I feel like it might not be, like a ton of bitter and a little bit more sweet, but I don't know, man, because like I've seen it. I mean, I was probably the biggest Todd Gurley fan, and I remember when they had to release him, and it like broke my heart. I was like, the idea that you could release somebody that
like
good.
Todd Gurley.
I mean, the dude, he will probably never be a Hall of Famer because they focus so much on longevity, but I don't think you can tell the story of the 2017 and 2018 season without Todd Gurley. You can't. So I know that's not how the Hall of Fame works, but man, like that's how special the dude was. But it's just kind of a reminder, like, yeah, like really to your point, anybody can be traded. We learned that in the NBA with Luka. That broke everything. So back to this season, what was your favorite thing about the season and your least favorite thing about it?
My favorite thing, honestly, bro, and it's crazy because I say young guys, but all of these guys older than me. But as far as years in the league, they my young guys. I'm their vet, however they want to look at it. But Kobe, man, Fisk, BY, Verse, Dejuan, like, did I want a piece of the pie? Did I want to be out there rushing the passer and everything? What competitor don't want to do everything if they can, especially if they believe in themselves to be that good? But to be able to see my young guys go out there in their first year and second year, bro, and almost break records, get sacks, and just have fun with each other, bro, it was like I was living through them because I would have given anything to be able to consistently play with my boy Ernest, be able to consistently play football with my boy Cope, just being able to be teammates with your guys, bro, and being able to play with them on a national level, it's nothing like it. Just like any of my teammates from A&M, and I got a lot of teammates, especially on the D line, that's in the NFL. Like any of them, bro, if I had another chance to play with them, and it was the best opportunity and choice for me, my family, and my future, I would give anything to play with my guys. But to be able to watch those guys, bro, come in as rooks and second year players and make the plays they did, and have the time that they was having, and it was fun. Like as bad as it was fun. And when it wavered, it was fun. When it was good, it was good. And even when it was bad, it was still good because we was together. But at the same time, that was probably my favorite thing. My least favorite, I would just say, especially with this being my contract year, I feel like I didn't get any opportunity to build myself no revenue for real. The
Mm.
Rams needed me to stop the run. They needed me to do those things. They needed me to play four-man services and always take up double teams and do things like that. And I did that for the betterment of the team. And I did it to the best of my ability to put myself in a situation to change my life. But like I said, I'm glad them guys was eating, but I would have loved a piece of the pie too. Everybody getting to peel their ears back. It's been 4 years and I still ain't got that chance yet. So I would say that was probably one thing I didn't like. And that's not something selfishly. It's just like I believe in myself.
Yeah, I mean, and that's really what the whole point of the question is for, to kind of give you an opportunity to really just hone in on, yeah, I love this and I didn't like this. And it doesn't make you a bad teammate, doesn't make you a bad player. I mean, I still believe you can rush the passer, you could win at least 10% of the pass rush snaps. I've watched you rush the passer at Texas A&M. You're capable of doing it. Um, but yeah, it is weird how it does. It seems like guys can do some things in college and then they get to the NFL and they're like, well, we have a different vision for you. And it's like you kind of fall into that role and everything. But yeah, I would definitely like to see you be able to be in that rotation, rush the passer a little bit more. And, I agree with that. I do. I think, yeah, there's a lot of talent there. I mean, hell, didn't know Neville Gallimore could play like that.
Yeah, my boy Nev, man. Shout out. Shout out my boy Neville. On me, that's my dog, bro. But like, yeah, man, I haven't had a chance to show my full potential yet. And think about this. I almost doubled 2 statistical categories this year. I played, if you count playoffs, I played 19 games.
Insane.
Last year I got hurt and I played only 13 games if you count the playoff game. I
Yeah.
almost doubled my stats and I played 21 less plays. The year before, I had played 499 snaps.
Mm.
And I only played 13 games. This year, I played 19 and I only played 471 and almost doubled my snaps. So if I'm given the opportunity or at least put in a good situation where even if I ain't the guy, I can be number 2, something to where I got time on the field, can fill out the game, get things going. Because like if you really watch my game, I get better as the game go on, no
Oh,
matter what
absolutely.
game I play. So it's like if I'm ever given an opportunity where I'm the guy, like bro, it'll be different. It'll be copacetic.
Well, this team doesn't turn things around without your incredible stop in the Seahawks game. And
Yeah,
I feel like everyone's so quick to talk about the D-Rob catch because that was special and it was crazy and, obviously it was great. But that doesn't happen
if I
if
don't
you
get
don't make that stop on 4th down.
yeah,
Like, and those are the things, like, you do these things that really it's up to people like me to point it out because the casual, that's not in fantasy football. People aren't keeping track of that. But like, that's why, like, that is actually a big reason why I feel like I need to go and I have to watch the film because now I owe it to people like you who don't get that recognition, who may be in the broadcast, even that color commentator isn't talking about you. He's talking about somebody else. So, instead of Bobby Brown having a great play, it's like, yeah, and I'm not saying this is exactly what happened. I remember it to be a little bit different, but kind of to this degree. I've seen it with Kello a lot, actually, where you have a play where like Kenneth Walker he didn't hit the right hole. And now we negated your play to talk
yeah.
about Kenneth Walker making a mistake in his
It's
read.
crazy. It's crazy you say that because I feel like not this year, but last year, one of my biggest plays last year was against the Browns. I had like a 7-yard tackle for loss, a jump to play, everything. And the commentator immediately, before talking about me, before talking about the tackle and nothing, he was like, Yeah, I think Flacco got to let the motion pass. He kind of bumped into the motion, which gave Bobby time to make the play, which I had really already made the play as soon as the play started. If you watch it, I had already knew where the ball was going,
Oh
which is
man.
like kind of crazy because it's like you take away from me because somebody else messed up. It's kind of like being in a group project and you do your part and somebody else don't do their part, so everybody feels like it ain't cool.
Yeah, and also, I mean,
Did
you
it
know,
get dark in here?
yeah, I know. You're wicked dark right now. I can't even see you.
Oh, man, they got dark.
That's funny. So yeah, man. Like I agree, and I also they're playing with your money too, because like those guys need to be able to point you out too, so you get that recognition. So it's a whole big picture.
But like I said, it's business. I don't really know what goes on behind the closed doors, but if I was a GM and I was watching me and the season was going on, how things was going, and based off of how we drafted, it's like, yeah, Bobby's 24. He's younger than everybody we've drafted.
Yeah.
And he's got 4 years of experience and he's a Super Bowl champion. That alone is gonna get some revenue. But then we putting him in bad situations, but not personally bad situations, but we put him in a worse situation because we need him to do these things so everybody else can go eat and make plays. But it ain't even necessarily for everybody else. It's really for the team. Like,
yeah,
which I get, but to me, personally, it ain't fair. But at the end of the day, it's business. So if I was a GM, I'd be like, yeah, like he's playing too well. Even in bad situations, we got to cut it back. Because if we do want to keep him, if we want to pay him, the name of the game is, yeah, they want to pay you. They'll pay you if you're good enough for it, but they're going to find any reason not to pay you. But rightfully so. If anybody is going to employ you or pay you, if they can find a reason not to pay you or not to pay you as much as they got to, why wouldn't they find it?
No, that's true. And I mean, it can be an ugly business too. I mean, imagine being Anthony Davis after that trade. Like, the hell, I won a championship here, and was talked about as he was going to be
crazy,
the guy.
I'm not even saying like this is the same caliber, but like the Ernest trade was literally like the same thing. Come in, I'm a starting linebacker for the Rams, and I'm a starting linebacker in the Super Bowl for the Rams. Made key plays, made sacks and tackles for the Rams in the Super Bowl. I'm a Super Bowl champion. Then on the flip side, even when I was hurt, I still played ended the season with 100 tackles every year. Even on top of that, I'm a team captain. I do everything the right way, and to still be traded for some peanuts right before the season, man, it's like, I ain't saying this at the caliber of Anthony Davis, but from a 4-year starter, Super Bowl champion, and captain of your defense, you just up and trade. It's a business. That's just what it is.
Yeah. Yeah, there were two things that came to my mind when you were saying that. The first thing I totally forgot. The second thing, Will McDonald. It kind of reminded me of Will McDonald watching his film at Iowa State. They had him playing the 3-tech. No idea why. Will McDonald. He was on the Jets. Okay. Will McDonald the fourth. He was playing the 3-tech. He's an edge defender. But they had him playing in the trenches. And I don't know why, but he took it on like knowing, even though it kind of killed his stock a little bit in the draft, he still did it. And I feel like now if anything, it almost helped him, because when I was watching that tape, I was like, so he's willing to do that. Totally playing that position. He's 238 pounds. Why is he playing that? Right. But now I know he's willing to do that. He's willing to work with the team. He's a team guy, but also he showed out in that role, like where he really stood his ground. So now that is a benefit, because now I know I'm not going to play him out of, position, but now I know he's damn strong. And I feel like that's kind of the same thing with you, is like, maybe this offseason, the Rams or whoever will look at you in a different way and be like, I think I want this guy rushing the passer a little bit more because I saw this, and this on film, but I know he can do this. And that's what gets me excited, because I know I have this, and now we can try this out. So I think it's kind of like that. That's how I would look at it. Yeah. But I got to ask you, for the Rams fans, let's just say you're a Ram next year, right?
Okay.
If you could have any alternate uniform to add to the Rams, what would it be and why?
I would have. I feel like I got three. Honestly, I got three.
Ooh,
I feel like a bone and black uniform. With
bone in black. I've not heard that.
so the color we wore when we played Arizona, that was bone.
Mm-hmm.
So bone and black, yellow numbers and stuff or whatever. However you want to do it, however you would design it, but bone and black. And then I would say an all black uniform or all white with blue and gold. Like, come on, man. All black or all white would look crazy. Like, imagine if we was wearing like we wore white when we played the Eagles in that snow game. Imagine if we was wearing all white.
Yeah.
Like, you know how cool that would have looked.
I agree with you on that. I've been pushing for that. I've been pushing for the black. I also I'm a historian, football historian. 1951 LA Rams, they win their first NFL championship. They won one in Cleveland in 45. This is before the Super Bowl, so no one counts it. I think it's bullshit. I think every championship should be counted.
You ain't wrong.
Hey, you know, it's like I'm tired of 49er fans saying we got 5 and you got 2. It's like, nah, we got 4, and you haven't seen any of those 5 in your lifetime, so shush. But no, I 51, they're rocking. They had the white pants, so you could address the white pants issue. Not having that is an issue, but then you could also add a yellow uniform up top.
Yellow
And
with blue numbers.
See, I'm cooking. I'm not cooking. It's already out there. It's already out there. They won
I'm call Berg.
Yeah.
As soon as we get off this call, I'm a burger. You better not mess this up. Get a good uniform.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, as long as it's not pink and purple, you're good. I mean, you know, it feels like there's so many different ways they can go. And I think this is the first year where they're eligible to add another helmet, rebrand, which I don't think they should rebrand. And then add, like, I think another 2 uniforms, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe I am, but I think they can add one more from what I know. But anyway, enough about uniforms, man. God, it's like all this, like, we're in the middle of the playoffs and people are like, what uniforms? I don't give a rip. I want to win the Super Bowl.
No, for real.
Oh, that has to be funny because you see it on Twitter too. All right, so I got to ask this one for the Rams fans. And I mean, obviously, but do you want to be back with the Rams?
For sure I do. Like, I feel like this is home, but at the end of the day, I got to make the best decision for me and my family. But
of course,
if money wasn't a factor, if location wasn't a factor, if I could have my daughter closer, whatever, if factors did not matter, like, yeah, LA would be home. It's been home. Shoot, it took a chance on a 20-year-old boy from Mississippi. So can't do nothing but thank Raheem, Les Snead, Coach McVay for even thinking about me in that light at 20. So LA will forever be home. Whether if I'm here or not here, like, LA definitely is dear to my heart for sure.
I like that. Yeah, I hope you're back, man. Regardless, we're friends. No matter where you go. I'm gonna be rocking with you. But what's a typical day in the life of Bobby Brown III?
Like, out of season?
In season and out of season. We'll do that.
Out of season, man, I be chilling, bro. Other than, like, if I ain't gonna go work out, then got me and the guys, we going bowling, we going to the beach, we be doing all type of stuff, bro. Like, I'm a chill guy. You feel me?
I like it.
But it's like I like having fun, man. Not really all with the partying and the clubbing and stuff. I like actually doing things that's fun, like playing basketball, like, you know, having fun. Shoot, even if I could ever go back, because I used to wrestle in high school. If I ever can go back excuse me, and give back to high school wrestlers and stuff. Go to a wrestling practice. My old wrestling coach. Oh, excuse me. My old wrestling coach, bro. Like that's what I like doing in the off season. But like during the season, regular day, look like well, if you ain't hurt, your first meeting start at give or take 8:39. So like you probably gonna be up give or take 7:30, 8, like something like that. Then say if you're hurt, you gotta go to treatment, then you're getting up at like 6:30. And
Ah,
if it's an earlier week where it's like we playing somewhere else and something like that, you gotta get up even earlier. You probably gotta get up at like 5. Like and then you go after your first meeting, then bam, you go to your next meeting, then you'll probably have weights. Then after weights, you got another meeting. Then after meetings, you got walkthrough. Then after walkthrough, you come back. Whether if it's lunch or something, we have lunch, and then we go to practice. And depending on what it depends on, you may have meetings after practice, but most of the time practice be over with. And I feel like the Rams schedule their stuff pretty well. Like it's pretty well structured. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's not bad, but yeah, a regular day is long. It's a long day.
I can imagine. It's probably a long time. I still don't know how you have time to even be on social media, ever get back to anything I say, or go on the show. But I appreciate it nonetheless.
So I be trying to get back, bro. One, I'm already a bad texter, but you know what I'm saying. It's just like it does become overwhelming sometimes, and all you be wanting for just a little time is like time to yourself. But it's
Oh
like
yeah, of
this stuff
course.
never stop. Like you're working, like, and I know other people got jobs like every day. Like they got to work every day unless it's PTO, unless it's something to be off, whatever. But at the same time, you have a bad day at work. Nobody knows you had a bad day other than you and probably who you work for. I have a bad day at work. Fans know, coaches know, I know, my mama knows, my dad knows. Like everybody knows. Like people who betted on me know. Like you know what I'm saying. So
Oh
it's a
man.
lot, bro. So all you be wanting to do really like is almost be alone, be in your solitude, or be able to kick it with somebody or have somebody in your corner, man, that's like not gonna bother you and is able to understand. Especially like on top of being able to do things, like we miss a lot of things. A lot of people want to do weddings at certain times where we're working. A lot of people like somebody passed away at a time where like we just traveled to a game, like or having a funeral at a time where we just traveled to a game. It's like, well, we just can't go to the funeral. It's like it's a lot of things. As loving as this profession is, it's a lot to come with it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's. I mean, I know to a degree, man. The weddings. I had 3 in October,
Exactly.
and
Like if I
2
had
of
a
them were
wedding in
on
October,
Sunday. Why are we doing Sunday weddings?
like,
Why?
come on, man. What's going on?
I know. I know. I'll have another one at some point in this year, and it'll probably be on a Rams game, and I'll show up for the first half of the wedding, and they'll be like, "Why'd you leave?" Because I have a job to do. Like, I know it is funny because believe it or not, this is a full-time job, and there's still people that I know personally that do not believe that this is a full-time job and this is just a hobby. And I'm like, bruh, this takes work. Like it's a lot of work, and going live right after a game, all that. So I mean, and I gotta say stuff that I don't always want to say. Like, you think I want to call you guys out for having a bad game? No, I normally don't have to, but you know, it's yeah, I get it. I get the wedding stuff. I get all of it. Um, so speaking of this content, you had reached out to me to start a UFC podcast. Now,
Yes.
the cool thing about this is that since you've said that, I have gotten more into the UFC. Um, what has led you to being passionate about Ultimate Fighting?
Bro, I used to be a wrestler.
I
Like,
heard that, and I was like, I was going to ask you if you ever want to join the UFC someday, but
no. Because they're in there fighting, and like, bro, they can end up like these guys are trained to kill each other or to kill
yeah,
somebody at the drop of a dime. Like, and you're in here fighting somebody knowing that they could kill you, you could kill them with rules. I wouldn't be able to do it. Like, wouldn't be able to do it. But at the same time, it's like I always had like, and I know WWE ain't real. Well, let me not say that. WWE is real because I don't think I could step out there and be a WWE superstar and fly through tables and jump off of things and do all these acrobatic things 3 days
I
out
do.
the week, national television.
After your
I
career, I
mean,
think you could be a superstar. I do. I do think you could go to the WWE.
I mean, but to be a superstar is not just the acting of it. Like you have to actually be a good athlete. You got to know moves. You got to protect your partner. There's a lot of stuff
Yeah,
that go into it.
you could do
And
it.
on top of it, you gotta be able to talk on a mic. Like they just now, if I'm not mistaken, they just now got on Netflix. Like if I was trying to be a WWE superstar in the PG era, like it would not work out. Like I would not have a job. Like because it's but from being into that as a little kid and actually growing up and getting into wrestling, like real combat sport, and placing that state, like just being in being in the light of a different sport like that, especially most sports are team sports. And not saying that wrestling isn't a team sport because it even still is because of how they count points. But when you're on that mat, it's just you and him. Like you can't
Yeah.
depend on nobody else. You can't blame nobody else. If he was a better man, he was a better man, and that's just what it is. And that's kind of what kind of got me into like UFC and boxing and all those things because it's like these singular sports where you can depend on your shoulder. It's not like uh, showing up to a football game and offense not playing well and we get killed, but defense held their offense to under 200 yards, but we get killed because the offense can't move the ball, or vice versa. Like offense put up 50 points, but we couldn't stop a nosebleed. Like you don't have to depend on that in combat sports. So like that was one thing that attracted me, but like I was an athlete in it, so I kind of got a piece of it, like a part of me, basically. And it's cool, bro. It's fun, like, and I feel like I was into it more when I was younger with my pops because he was the one that really introduced me to UFC. Like Chuck Liddell was like one of my favorite people
Oh wow. Okay.
from the start. And Kim, shoot, even though Kimbo Slice run in the UFC wasn't great, watching Kimbo Slice on YouTube, like it was just like I was showed this at a young age by my pops, so it was like it was what put me into it for real. But man, it's like I finally tapped back into it, like really seriously, probably the last 6 years, 7 years, and I feel like it was like perfect timing between. I get to catch the really Hall of Fame runs by Usman, by what's his name, Francis Ngannou, by Israel Adesanya, and then you get to see Alex Pereira, you get to see Ilya Taporia, like Islam, like watching all these things, watching from growing up, watching Khabib, McGregor, all of these guys, all of these names, like, and just like my sport, like it's short lived. Like they ain't gonna be on top forever. They gonna lose, and that's the thing. I think that's probably the beauty of the UFC. As unstoppable as somebody seems or may be, there's always somebody that might win. Like,
I've learned that pretty quickly. It's actually I finally just sat down with my buddy and we watched one of the fight nights, and just right away I was like, "Oh, this is cool," you know, and I watched a lot of different fights from the past to try to get into it and find who was going to be my favorite, and I settled on Joaquin Buckley. I just love watching him fight.
you said
Uh,
who?
Joaquin Buckley.
Hakeem Buckley.
He just destroyed. Oh
Is he
god,
the dark skinned guy, the short guy?
is he short? I mean, he just beat the crap out of oh, what's it? Colby Covington.
Yeah, Buckley. Yeah, his name is Joaquin. I don't know why I thought it was something else.
Yeah,
Yeah, I love Buckley too. He's funny, bro. He's funny, especially
yeah.
like,
Oh, he just
and then like especially like now that they're letting them. Well, I don't want to say let because they kind of been doing it, but like now that it's more publicized, more people watching, and they're doing more shows and everywhere else and podcasts, all this other stuff. Like, you know, it's cool to hear the actual beef, and then you hear some stuff like finding out some guys was friends and they fought, and then you watch the fight and you're like, they're fighting like they're not friends. But
Yeah.
honestly, that's how I would fight if I was fighting my friend. Like, you know what I'm saying? But it's at the same time, it's just cool, bro. Like, I ain't lie, I love it. Dana White needs to send me some tickets because I am promoting. Like,
Hey, I'm with you on that. Maybe someday we'll be able to do the show and things are less chaotic. I have all sorts of shows that I do now, so it's and I still gotta learn the sport. I feel like I haven't quite learned it. Like probably way more than I do. But it's fun. I enjoy it. Maybe someday, Bobby. Someday. Maybe just go live for like a watch party or something. I don't know. It'd
you
be
know
fun.
what? You want to hear something funny, and this is something that happened in college.
What's that?
I'm not gonna go all the way into I ain't gonna go all the way into what happened, bro. But before I say this, shout out to my dog PV and J Ro. Like J the PV, he played for the Houston Texans, man. It's my dog from A&M. But we was in camp one year. I think was it my freshman year or sophomore year? I can't remember. But Daniel Cormier, I think it was the last time him and John Jones fought.
Mm.
Daniel Cormier was already booked to come talk to us, and he was coming to talk to us either the day or 2 days after that fight, if I'm not mistaken, if I'm correct. Bro, one, I watched the fight. One, let's just say that. And I'm pretty sure it was John Jones. I could be wrong. I'm not sure if it was John Jones, but I'm pretty sure it was John Jones. And man, he came into that meeting. Bro, you know how like on cartoons or shows, they be having the knots on people and black eyes. Like, it just looks crazy. It looks ridiculous. Like, it looks like this can't happen to a person realistically. Honestly, now that I'm thinking about it, I don't think he fought John Jones. I think he fought Stipe.
Mm.
I think he fought Stipe. But even at the end of the day, he fought somebody, and he came into that meeting. And yeah, we listened to him, man, because I love Daniel Cormier. Like, I feel like he's easy Hall of Famer, easy. Like, I don't think people understand how good Prime DC was, and Prime was like a 35-year-old man. Like, he came in late. I think he came in maybe like 30, 31, probably even older, and had championship runs at 34 and 35. Like, this man is a grown man, bro. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like, he is rolling up on his 40s and is killing guys and fighting. Like, even to this day, I feel like one of the best rivalries, even though he never won, was him and John Jones. Like, even when John Jones would win, I feel like DC would push John Jones, especially because they already didn't like each other. So it just made it all the better. But man, he came in, bro, looking like he got beat up by a mob. Like, it was crazy. And PV was sitting in front of me. Well, we had a team meeting, and we sitting at the very top, bro. And PV was like, he was like, I know he's trained to fight, but is he trained to protect himself? Because look, bro. And I was like, bro, like, chill out, bro. And bro, like, we was laughing the whole time that man was there, but he came in with a good message, man. Like, but that was definitely not a good time to come after you lost a fight looking like that. Like,
Oh man. Yeah, I guess losing builds character was the whole point. Like,
it do, it build character for sure, for sure.
That's amazing. That is really funny. And I knew exactly what you're talking about when you're like, yeah, like those cartoons. I was like, oh boy, this is where we're going with this story. It's like, good Lord. That's so funny.
I'll never forget that. But it's crazy because, like, even yet, still be dead a fan, him losing, whatever. Like, I still went and shook his hand, tried to get a picture, everything. Actually, I think I did get a picture, but I ain't got that phone no more. But it's just like, that's part of the love that you have for, like, combat sports, bro. It's like your favorite guy. Yeah, he could be prime example. I'll give this example.
at the time, I didn't respect and like anything about McGregor, but as far as his profession, you got to respect that he sold his fights well and was a decent fighter.
Yeah.
But Jose Aldo, like Aldo was already a Hall of Famer realistically before he fought McGregor, right?
Mm.
I remember talking to my dad. I'm like, man, Aldo's gonna win. Like this is nothing. Like not it's McGregor, bro. Like Aldo is a Hall of Famer. Like he's gonna do what he needs to do. He's gonna win. And my pops was like, all right, yeah, we're gonna see. And we watched that together. And he beat that man in 7 seconds.
Man.
And then it's like you sit there from a fan perspective. He's like, man, he lost. Like you know what I'm saying? You want to be like he sucked, but realistically, he don't suck. He's not a terrible fighter. He's not terrible at his profession. Actually, if you had to go out there and try to do what he do against him, he would kill you. So like, he don't suck. It just goes to show how much you have to love and pay attention to the sport, man, because anybody can lose and anybody can win. And sometimes it be hype trains and sometimes it be diamonds in the rough. Like you never know who's good, who's really good, and who's really like that.
No, that's cool. And yeah, it's been fun getting, to know it a little bit more. Obviously, I don't know it enough to talk about it. Like, I don't know what the hell's going on. I like the boxing. I wish the boxing was bigger. It's not. Yeah. We need a Mike Tyson, I think. Well, they did. They did. It's like, I don't know. At this point, I mean, like the term humiliation ritual, it feels like boxing is going through that and it just isn't going to stop. Yeah. I feel like the entire point right now is just to humiliate boxing because it's nothing against Jake and Logan Paul, but like, come on.
Yeah. Like, come on.
Like, I don't know. I will say there's one fighter you should check out, Moses Atalma. He's I think he's Ukrainian, British, Ukrainian. I forget but he's undefeated right now. He's 21, I think. He might even be younger. But yeah, he looks really good. He is a heavyweight fighter, southpaw. The closest thing I think we've had in a while to anything that could be considered Mike Tyson. So, I think that's what the sport needs. But
his last fight? Do you know
his last fight? I don't know. I can look it up though. It's the perks of doing a show pre-recorded and being right here with a computer. Okay, so Atalma is 20 years old. And he is 11-0 with 9 knockouts. He just beat Dempsey McKean in Saudi Arabia to get the WBO Intercontinental Heavyweight title. Or he retained it. So he already has the WBO title. So yeah, I mean, he's got a chance to be really good, but the problem is it's just like you need guys like that. Like for instance, I think Caitlin Clark really helped out women's basketball. Now people are like watching more than ever. And there are other really talented women's basketball players, but you're trying to bring in another audience.
Yeah.
Like that's how and boxing was as big as anything back in the day. Like my dad tells me all the time, he's like, oh, Ali Frazier and it's just all sorts of stuff. And then it goes from being one of the biggest things to then being a joke, like we were just talking about. And how do you get back to where it was? Well, you need star power. It's that simple.
I feel like, honestly, Terrence Crawford, even Errol Spence before he got hurt, bro. I feel like Tank Davis, like they are catalysts of being able to bring that audience and that love back to boxing. I feel like Deontay Wilder was at a point too.
Yeah.
Even though I personally don't like him. What's his name?
The guy who beat Wilder?
Yeah, what is his name?
Tyson Fury.
Like even the guy that just beat Tyson Fury, I like him. Is that how you say his name? Usyk.
I don't know how to say
I
that
don't
dude's
really know how
name,
to
but
say
he's a stud.
He's a killer, bro. Like,
Yeah, there you go. You need guys like that. Like he needs to keep doing his thing and being dominant because that will help the sport out.
Yeah.
And like for instance, like with boxing, it's very like welterweight, middleweight type of heavy. Like you're talking about Triple G versus Canelo. Like that's like what people want to watch. And yeah, it's like I think
the fight
once we get the heavyweight division going, man, I think boxing will be back.
That's really what people love to see. People love to see sluggers, and that's really all heavyweights are, sluggers for real. But
Yeah.
that's why Ali was so like loved, because he wasn't just a slugger.
No, the footwork was insane. And like Mike Tyson's quickness, you know,
and his power.
Yeah. And he was short. He didn't even look, he wasn't the stereotypical like long reach, crazy, tall. No, he wasn't.
Like this man's knocking people out with a list.
Oh, yeah.
I love Tyson, bro. Like Mike Tyson is so funny, bro. He's so funny.
I hate looking at
Jake Paul was hilarious, but
yeah. The fight against Buster Douglas makes me sour because you go back. Well, that was the one that was like the end of it. Like he fell off the face of the earth after that. But he lost his he lost his manager, who was like his father figure because he didn't have one. So when he passed away, people took advantage of him. That's what happened, and he went downhill. It's a sad story. He also just was so dominant. Like you watch some of those fights, and you're like, he's just turning these guys into like those squash matches in WWE.
Yeah.
5 seconds, boom, like
boom.
A hook, the duck and hook and everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we'll wrap this thing up. I got a couple more questions, and then we'll finish this up. I mean, I really appreciate you taking the time. I know you're busy, and you can give me all the oh yeah, I'm just chilling. Nah, I appreciate it. Like it means a lot. So first off, how long do you want to play in the NFL? Like, you're still young. You won't be 25 until August. You're the youngest, by the way. I don't know if you do this. I did the liberty of researching it. Youngest interior defensive lineman in the 2025 free agency class.
No, I didn't know that. But you do know, and I think I've said this to you, I'm like the fourth or third youngest player to win the Super Bowl.
That's crazy.
Yeah. But also, I would say as long as God will me to play or let me love the game enough to play and respect the game, like I feel like once I get to a point to where I don't love it no more, then I retire. Or when I can't do what I once used to do, because Father Time don't stop nobody. So just being realistic. But like you said, I'm 24. Like most guys are coming in right now into their first year. It's guys in this year that's still gonna be older than me. Like from that COVID year, from going back, from whatever, like for the next, I'm probably actually not gonna play with my actual age group for another 2 years.
That's crazy.
Yeah. But like,
yeah.
As far as how long I want to play, as long as God let me.
Damn. So it's gonna be like drag me off the field type of stuff, like
basically. But I'm trying to leave it in pretty colors, like AD did. He walked off on a good note. I'm trying to walk out on a good note. And once it starts getting ugly, then I'm gonna be like, all right, it's time to wrap it up.
Then you get into that, like, we'll sign 1-year deals with the obvious Super Bowl contenders.
Wrap it up.
No,
what was that cat that retired mid-game for the Bills?
Oh my God.
Yeah, I understand.
Well, that happened. That happened like 3 times. Antonio Brown did it, different reason. Antonio Brown did it. Then the guy for the Bills, he did it, and then I don't know if he retired, but Devondre Campbell totally was like, I'm over it. I think it was that in your game?
Yes, that was crazy. I was standing on the sideline. I can't remember who I was talking to, but I was like, yo, is he leaving? And he was walking off the field, bro. At first, I was like, oh, he got to be hurt. And then somebody was like, I don't think that's a trainer. And I was like, he just leaving? Like, and that game was close. Like, I think we ended up winning that game, 14-12?
Yeah, it was 12-6.
or 12, 6, something. Yeah, I knew. That's crazy. But you
That
never
was
know what's
not
going on behind the
easy.
scenes. You never know.
Short week after playing against Josh Allen, and then you're playing in the freezing. Well, not freezing, but cold for
It was
cold for California. That was
and
cold,
it was raining.
and it was raining. Exactly. That's a very underrated element. All right, let's do rapid fire here. Favorite TV show, favorite food, and favorite place in the world.
Favorite TV show right now is Invincible. Favorite,
So
favorite.
good,
Yes, it is. I love it. They need to drop more than 8 episodes, bro. Like,
dude.
I hate that shows are doing it now. But favorite food, Chinese food. And you said what else? What was the other question?
Favorite place in the world.
Favorite place in the world. My bed.
That is
Man.
funny. This man said, "My favorite place in the world is my bed."
Yes.
Like, just no travel, just my bed.
My bed. I would rather be here.
That's amazing. Yeah, the Invincible thing. I think they just dropped episode 4, season 3, and
Yeah, I just watched it last night.
same here. And it was probably one of the better episodes, I thought.
Bro, when they started fighting in the prison, I was losing my mind. Like this was real. Like,
I'm with you. Hey, that's how I felt. I just watched the latest episode of Dragon Ball Daima, and I felt that way.
Who you would say your favorite character is off of Invincible?
Invincible. Mark Grayson just gets better and better. Because before Omni-Man, even with his faults, I was like, that dude's the coolest, like by far. But Mark Grayson, Invincible, has become my favorite for sure. But
honestly,
Alan the Alien's pretty good too.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he is. Cause I ain't gonna lie, ain't that that's not Seth Rogen. Who is that?
No, this is Seth Rogen.
Oh yeah, Seth Rogen. Yeah, somebody. I knew it was somebody. But I would say my favorite character is what's his name? The Rex. He is hilarious. Like hilarious. Like that man said in the past episode, she was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna cook." And he was like, I'm pretty sure Robot's credit card still works. Like, like, you know, we can go get some takeout. And then she was like, yeah, well, I want to do, no. She was like, well, we don't have to do something. And then he was like, yeah, well, you don't have to make the food. Like bro, it's hilarious.
Oh,
it's
man.
funny because it's like obnoxious hilarious. Like he's like, annoying.
It's that actor, man. I forget his name, but I think he's in Parks and Recreation, and he's in some other stuff. He just always plays kind of that goofball that like it doesn't take himself seriously.
Yeah,
I totally forgot his name, but yeah, he's a good one. He's a good voiceover for him, and Rex is a good character.
He's a good character for sure.
Why is it that animated shows are almost on the level of like, live action shows nowadays? It just feels like the adult animated ones like Invincible just feel genuinely good. Like there's a full fleshed out story, the pacing, the character development. I mean, now I feel like everything's made by AI.
Yeah. I ain't gonna lie. I feel like catering to your inner child basically. And you being an adult. Being able to watch a cartoon, but then at the same time, they are killing each other. like very gory, like it's gruesome, but it's good. The storyline is good. It's not just that. Shoot, one of my other favorite shows was The Boys. I love The Boys.
I know Invincible is like The Boys anime.
The Boys anime, yeah. Like I love The Boys.
Yeah, like, oh man, I remember that first episode with Omni-Man. If you guys haven't seen it, you need to check it out. It's like jaw-dropping. You're like, what just happened? Like, that's one of the best scenes I think I've ever seen. I mean, it's done perfectly. The tension, and it's like why is there tension? What is that? And then all of a sudden, like, psh, psh, like, whoa, like, you know, yeah, I agree with that. I do. I mean, I was just actually saying this to somebody where I'm like, why is it? I thought when I got older, I was always told I wouldn't like all this other, I wouldn't like anime. I wouldn't care about that. And I never really did. I was only like a Dragon Ball fan. And now I'm like Invincible. I'm getting into more anime shows, all that. And it's weird. As I've gotten older, I've become more open to this stuff than in the past that I actually wasn't. I don't know why.
I watched anime here and there, and more so cartoons. I guess well, it's not necessarily anime, but like I would watch cartoons and stuff growing up, and when I was younger. But anime just never appealed to me really, like until you said till I got older. Like,
right? Like, what the hell?
That's so into like my boy Charles has tattoos all over his body, and they're anime tattoos. Like,
oh my god!
Like, you know, it's just crazy. Some people are extreme with it, but it's cool. Like the storylines be crazy, be mad long. Like you're not going without. You're not hungry for more of that show because anime normally produces a lot at one time.
I know. The only gripe I have, because I actually am watching for Dragon Ball Daima, I'm watching the Japanese sub. But that's my gripe, is that I feel like the English dub, they take so long to release that for certain shows. And it's like you end up having to watch the whole Japanese one before you watch the English one, because it's like, yeah, it'll be out in a year. I'm like, I don't have a year to wait. I need to figure out what the hell happened, because like you guys left me on a cliffhanger. But yeah, it's funny. I mean, I'm watching, like I said, I'm watching Dime. I'm also watching Solo Leveling. You know, I was told to watch Attack on Titan, so I'm watching. I have so many different shows that I've started. I'm all different places with, and yeah, and I think the soundtrack for them is actually pretty good too. I think that's a kind of a cool thing, like the jazzy. Not always, but like Japanese rock, whatever they think rock is. Like it's kind of cool. It's funny because you're guesting on this channel, the new channel that I'm doing, and I actually had Stephanie Nadolny on, who voices over Kid Goku and Gohan. So yeah, so yup. That's what this channel is about. I get to talk to cool people, whether you're a football player or you're behind a camera or whatever, right? So that's the cool thing. Last thing I'll ask you before I let you go, because I've kept you way too long. But it's been fun, and we'll look back on it and be happy that we did it. But what is the craziest story that you can tell on this show?
The craziest story I can tell on that show. Like just any story, or like what?
Any story you feel comfortable telling on this show.
Well,
that's the craziest, I guess.
My mama probably gonna kill me for this. But I would say the craziest story, and it's funny because everybody know my mom is this loving, sweet woman. I do too as well. But this woman, I'll just tell the story. Well, she had this ex-boyfriend at the time, and she broke up with him and basically told him, like, it's over with, like, it's done, don't come back to my house, whatever. And every now and then he would pop up and she would send him away. Every time, like, very adamant. This one particular time, and we lived in brick apartments, like, the only way in the house is through the back door, through the front door, or through the windows upstairs. Like, this man broke into the house.
What?
But not broke into the house on like trying to hurt anybody or anything. He literally was like just trying to get my mama's attention, which is ridiculous. But at the end of the day, this is what he did. No words was broken from my mama. The only thing I hear is bleak, bleak, bleak. And I hear screaming. And I'm like, oh my goodness, like he might be doing something to my mom. So I run downstairs. I'm running downstairs. To get to the edge of the stairs, to see her straddling him on his back, and she's beating him with a candle. And she's like, I told you to leave me alone.
Leave my son alone. Stay away from my house. Blah, 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 blah. This man turned his head and screamed, and he was like, Trey, help. Bobby, help. And I was like, bro, I'm going to come down there and get the same thing you get me. So I ran back upstairs. And my mama beat her for probably like another 2 minutes. And then she put him out the house.
Oh my
So, like,
God, man.
She did not play that. She did not play that.
Damn.
That happened when I was like, I couldn't have been no older than like 11, 12. Like crazy, bro. It was crazy. Crazy.
Damn. You sure we should keep that one in there? Like,
yeah. If you go post one, post that. Actually, yeah, post that.
all right. Well, I did ask you. I did warn you.
Yes,
but
sir.
I will post it. So we'll keep in contact, of course. You know, you're my guy. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. If you stuck around this long, hopefully you enjoyed. You got to know a little bit about the man, the myth, the legend, Bobby Turnover Mask Brown the third.
Oh man,
Bobby, also not known as Trevor Wallace.
Yeah,
Brown.
Trevor Wallace.
But that's going to do it. So hope you guys enjoyed episode 9, and we'll see you guys soon.